What's up, everybody? Dracula Fitness here, www.draculafitness.com, and this is going to be a video over like posture and different areas of the body. So this is going to be more of an advanced video, and so if you got a bad back, you got a bad neck, you feel a twinge in your neck, listen to this video, and I'm going to refer future videos back to this video for people that need to learn. So, alright, get out a pen and pencil. I mean a pen or paper if you need, because let's get this started. Alright, so first thing you need to know is different areas of your spine, or your vertebrae. So you have your cervical, your thoracic, your lumbar, your sacral, and your coccyx. The cervical area of your vertebrae is basically from this bone, this top vertebrae here, all the way down to your upper back. So it's like from here, that's where your thoracic area of your spine or vertebrae takes over, which is basically your middle back. Now you may hear me talking about like thoracic extension in some of the other videos, and what that basically means is having your thoracic area, the middle part of your back extended, Then you have your lumbar area, which is basically your low back, And then you have your sacral area, which is right above the pelvis. And then you have your coccyx area, is right on the pelvis. So those are the 5 different areas of your vertebrae spine, That's what holds us together, our spine, the spinal cord, the vertebrae. So now between each vertebrae you have discs, So if your doctor says like you slipped a disc or something, that means it's some kind of something that went wrong between each vertebrae. So, and how does that correlate to like posture and everything like that? So basically what I'm gonna get into is muscular imbalances. What is a muscular imbalance? A muscular imbalance can be brought upon by, well, first of all, a muscular imbalance is basically one part of your muscle is not equal to another part of your body, another muscle of yours. So a muscular imbalance could be like, say I have one arm bigger than the other, one bicep is bigger than the other, or even getting deeper than that, one head of my bicep, say my short head is overpowering my long head of my bicep, things like that. That's called a muscular imbalance, And how does a muscular imbalance occur? How does a muscular imbalance occur? It can occur from an acute injury, which is a sudden injury. Say you slipped and you fell, that would be, and then you have the imbalance from that. That would be an acute injury, just like in math, you have an acute angle. Think about that. Or it can be brought upon chronically in a chronic manner. So basically, that's over a long stretch of time. It built up to now you have this faulty movement pattern going on. So basically that's what it is, and chronically could even mean, like, say for instance I'm always sitting like this. Say for instance I'm always sitting like this. You know what I mean? That's gonna put excess stress on my lower back, which is my lumbar area, remember? So and I do that all the time, and I know I shouldn't. You should always sit straight up as far as you can, So that gets into posture. Movement patterns, create faulty movement patterns create muscular imbalances. Now, how is that? Our bodies we all have different limb lengths. What I mean is limb lengths. Some people's arms are bigger, some people's I'm just gonna say thigh bone, but really it's your femur. Some people's femurs are of different lengths and things, and that's all gonna correlate to predestined imbalances. You know what I mean? Depending on how your body is. Now, it's crucial when you're in the gym to not facilitate these muscular imbalances, and you can even reverse the process by doing exercises. First of all, the compound lifts with like squats, deadlifts, overhead presses, which are basic movement patterns that we've had to do, for a long time. That's basically, you want to make sure you do those correctly, and you should break down the movements meticulously. Like, go back and look at my deadlift video. I'm gonna get more in depth about the deadlift in another video. Those are just quick tutorials, but you want to make sure that you do those exercises correctly. And it could be the chicken or the egg effect on whether you know that injury was brought upon by the deadlift, or is it how you sit or how you walk every day that made your deadlift be that crappy, basically, you know. And then you got to fix that, and you can reverse the process of all this. So let's talk about posture. Let's talk about standing up straight like this right here. You know, standing up straight, I mean sitting straight and whatever. Basically, sitting is not good anyway. Even when you use the bathroom, our bodies were made to like squat. We were made to squat and use the bathroom. That's why you hear I think it's called the squatty potty or something like that. It was on Shark Tank one time, and where you put your feet up, that's the correct way to actually use the bathroom, you know. But in our society, we're very used to sitting down in chairs, which is not really good. That's why some offices and some health conscious businesses who have employees have actually had to make the desk where you don't sit down, they raise up, you know. So that's good. I mean, it's gonna take a lot of energy out of you, but still, you know. But we should be made to stand a long length of time anyway. We should be able to squat down for a long length of time. We should be able to stand up for a long length of time, because that's what's natural to our bodies. But all these muscular imbalances create people. Let's say you have general posture issues. Let's say you have like a rounded upper back. A rounded upper back is called kyphosis, you know, or a rounded mid back is called thoracic kyphosis. What does that mean? That means that thoracic area now it's rounded, you know. And a lot of times that can be brought upon by me sitting just like this. But let's talk about how to fix a thoracic kyphosis. Generally, you're either going to have a thoracic kyphosis, which is a rounding of the upper back. Think kyphosis is rounding. Or you're going to have a lumbar lordosis, which is basically mean your lumbar area is sticking out. So thoracic is caving in, concave, and a lumbar area is basically sticking out like that. It's like a Donald Duck butt, you know. I mean, you've seen people like that, right? This thing like that behind just sticks out. Well, that could actually be a muscular imbalance. I mean, it could actually be lumbar lordosis, which was created by a muscular imbalance. And that's why I have a problem with all these fit girls doing all these specific glute exercises and things like that, and even things like the leg press. You want to they're building up the muscle, but they're not doing it in a way that you're supposed to, correct biomechanically way, you know. That's why I always preach like the basics, the squat. Because the squat is going to develop your legs as a whole rather than just focus on one specific muscle. That's called an isolation exercise. You know, you want to do compound, more than one. That means compound means more than one. To get your muscles working as a whole, compound movements. And yeah, so how can you fix thoracic kyphosis? Well, first you need to think about, how do you sit, you know. You need to think about some ways. How do you drive? How do you stand? And you need to go from there. You know, it always goes down to the basics. That's how we learn those patterns and how they get ingrained into our CNS, central nervous system. That's how they create it. So try to do little quick fixes every day. If you notice yourself slumping over, kind of sit tall, you know what I mean? Stretch, you know. It's very important. Stretch out your muscles every day, you know. There are different stretches you can do, you know. I mean, stretch out your lats, you know, which is basically your armpit muscle, and it goes down to all the way down to your lumbar spine. Stretch out your lats. I mean, these are simple things, you know. And you can do things like this. This is called a foam roller. You can get this at Walmart. Most gyms have them. And this will be another video in itself, but what you can do with a foam roller is you can actually get deep down into the muscle fibers and basically press down on them with the foam roller to release all the tension. And that's going to really help out your back. Be looking out for that how to foam roll video, because a lot of people do it wrong. You see this a lot of times. You know, I even see NBA players do this a lot of times in warm-ups. They go back and forth. Say I'm foam rolling my forearm right here. I'm doing like this. This is not the correct way to foam roll. When you foam roll, you're supposed to put pressure on the supposed to put pressure on the particular place where you have the most tension and let it sit there, and gradually over time the muscle fibers will straighten out and release tension. So I'm gonna do a tutorial of that another time. So you want to focus on that first, you know. Think about your lifestyle, and then you can go on to like muscular imbalance. I mean, like muscularity wise, you know. So if I have rounded upper shoulders, you know, internally rotated shoulders, hope I'm not losing any of y'all. If I have internally rotated shoulders, it could be because of how I'm working out. It could be, do you always do a lot of bench press exercises? Do you always do a lot of shoulder press or anterior deltoid exercises? Well, anterior deltoid, what does that mean? You have your delt here, you have your anterior, you have your lateral, and you have your posterior or rear delts. So basically, if I'm always doing a whole lot of pressing, that's going to set up a muscular imbalance because I'm doing a whole lot of pressing. You understand? So it's gonna gradually internally rotate my shoulders. But what you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure you do a lot of rear delt exercises, the back of the shoulders, back exercises, you know. So do your rear delt flies, your bent over rows, even deadlifts and pull-ups help, you know. So be conscious of that. So I mean, if you have lumbar lordosis, say you have a Donald Duck butt and your butt sticks out, make sure you stretch out your hamstrings, but you just want to stretch out your muscle. Make sure you foam roll it, and make sure that you don't have tight hamstrings. So basically, there are things, you know, I'm not going to get into it, but there are things called upper cross syndrome, which is like an X, and there are things called lower cross syndrome. But I'm not sure I want to get it, maybe in the future, you know. But basically what upper cross syndrome means is, say this is an X right here, you know. Say my head is down like this. Well, if my head is down right here, that means that my scalene right here, my scalene muscles are not, you know, they're not strong enough. So you want to fix that exercise. How can that be fixed? Let's say when you deadlift, you want to make sure that your head is straight. And it's just a whole lot of, I'm not going to get into all that, but there's just a whole lot of different things that you can do. So the bottom line is what I'm going to say is, I'm going to get into more of these later. You know, if you have bad back problems, you need to focus on your core. It's not, a lot of times, it's not even actually the acute place where you think it is. It's actually the opposite. So if you got a bad back, you probably have a lack of core strength, and core strength has been confused. A lot of people think when they say core strength you mean abs. No, there are different muscles. Your rectus abdominis or your abs are actually on the outside. Those are the outside muscles of your core, you know. I'm talking about your transverse abdominis, you know. So this is your real main core, and your core is everything right here. It's your internal obliques, your transverse abdominis, and you got your trunk back here. It's called your girdle, you know. It's your whole belt, if you will. So that's gonna keep everything together. So I'm gonna get into more of these later, you know, and I'm gonna teach y'all, because there's not too many people out here actually talking about this real stuff. A lot of people out here don't really know what they're talking about. When they, oh, you can get in shape. Well, do you know the biomechanics? Do you know what upper cross, lower cross syndrome, kyphosis, lordosis? Do you know the areas of the spine? Do you know how to fix the problem? You know, a lot of people don't think about that. And even mentally, you know, let's say you have thoracic kyphosis and you kind of slumped over like this. That can be brought on by a mental problem. I mean, not a like crazy mental problem, but let's say you think down on yourself. So I'm gonna kind of always look down Well, that can facilitate a muscular imbalance to make you, I mean, because you're always looking down, you know what I mean? So everything correlates, you know, body and mind, you know. A lot of people say they're one, and I'm pretty, in some instances, yes, they are. So I'm going to get into more of these later. Keep looking out for these videos. They may be longer, but if you know what, you want to learn about the spine, you want to learn about your posture problems, you know, stay tuned for those who really want to learn, you know. So www.draculafitness.com. I can be your coach. I can tell you about all of this stuff in depth personally. But till then, see y'all guys next.